Right, good evening everybody, ladies and gentlemen. God, something got stuck in my throat there. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. It's nice to see you on this Thursday evening. Let me just clear the air straight away. I'm not doing this stream because I'm in some sort of major panic and I think it's everybody to the bunkers, the sirens are going, we've already worried about the news that came out earlier on. I was always going to do a live stream tonight. It just so happened that this became the key feature of tonight's live stream. The reason why I was going to do a live stream tonight was mostly down to the fact I'm away to London in the morning, and I just wanted to wrap things up with a bit of conversation before I go away. Little did I think that this is the conversation we were going to have tonight. But here we are, anyway, before I head off to London for Money in the Bank and SmackDown tomorrow. So, hello, welcome, join in. I've already seen the comments section beforehand. A lot of people worried. I've seen social media, once again, a lot of people worried. I've got to sit down. I'm going to talk rationally as I always do on this channel. We're going to get all your guys' thoughts and opinions throughout the stream and towards the end of the stream as well, as we always do. But as always, make sure to hit like and subscribe if you're here live or you're watching in video form a little bit later on. But I guess that we should just skip to the point for now. Thank you to everybody, by the way, who's piling in already. It's nice to see you all on this fine Thursday evening. Let's just cut to the chase, shall we? And let's go into the talking point for tonight's stream. Instead of beating around the bush and wasting time and dancing around what it is, I'm going to open up on screen now. Thank you, by the way, very much for the donation, Jacob. £2. Thank you. Love it. This came out earlier today, about 2:40 PM, so nearly 3 o'clock. This was out on Twitter that Saudi club Al Ittihad have agreed with the Portuguese player Jota on all terms and details of a contract to join its ranks during the summer transfer period, and a few minor details remain with his club. That was the translation picked up by Google. Essentially, this news network in Saudi Arabia with 1.4 million followers on Twitter has tried to claim and is reporting that Jota has agreed a deal and is ready to move and a transfer over to Al Ittihad in Saudi Arabia. Out of nowhere else reporting it in the same fashion, just popped up out of the blue. I had a wee scroll through their Twitter earlier on. I'll do it live here. They report on a lot of things, right? Just general transfers. Obviously, we've got Mason Mount to Manchester United here. We've got a few other things, yada, yada, yada. I tried to look through to see if there was any sort of consistency in truth or false. It's hard to read. It just seems like they report on transfer rumours and try and take stories from what we already know. However, this is obviously a story that none of us know. This is a story that has came out of the blue with no prior knowledge, with no indication that it actually was a thing. And now this channel from Saudi Arabia has piped up and tried to claim that this is the case. I am going to get my opinion out the way very, very quickly. A report like this, I take with an incredible amount of cautiousness, and I'm very, very, very aware that this is probably nonsense. Now, I'm not going to sit here and guarantee it's not nonsense, because who knows? This time next week, Jota could be jetting off like a lot of the stars right now to Saudi Arabia to bank bags of cash. This just seems so out the blue, so random, so nonsensical that it just can't really be true. And there's a reason for that as well. I'm going to bring up something else. This was a story, and a lot of people will probably be bringing this up, and I'll get talking about the Jota stuff even more in a minute. This was a story that broke earlier on in the week, or I think it was actually maybe towards the tail end of last week. This was a story that broke from another Saudi Arabian outlet. This one not as large as the first one. I think this is more related to the football club itself, Al Ittihad. But this broke out about Rio Hatate apparently being close to joining the same club. A report came out, a few people started panicking, yada yada. Within a day, Rio Hatate's agent came out and rubbished it. He came out and said, no, he's not going to Saudi. As simple as that. He didn't even say he's not interested or there was talks. There was not. He just said, no, it's nonsense. And It went very quiet, very, very quickly. Now, I don't want to put a situation out there that might not be true or might not happen, and then we're all left disappointed. But I want to say it right now, quite quietly confident that the exact same thing is going to happen with Jota. I feel like in a week's time, we're going to see the players back in Lennoxtown. We're going to hear something from Brendan Rodgers. We're going to see photos of Jota. We're going to see something that is just going to completely disregard this story from even being a thought, from even being realistic. I feel like it's the kind of thing that despite the large following on the account, you can't really take with any sort of truth. I'm just going to open it back up. This is it here once again. Saudi club Al Ittihad has agreed terms with Portuguese player Jota on all terms and details of a contract to join the club. It just makes no sense. Jota is only 1 year into a 5-year deal. He is someone who I think has aspirations and the talent to go to the top of the game, which is obviously very easy to do through playing at Celtic, with players using the club as a stepping stone, exactly what Jota is probably going to do. A move to Saudi Arabia just seems very unlikely for any party. I don't see why Jota would... Well, I do see why. The money would be nuts. I only can sit here right now and speculate over the fact that there is so many players going to Saudi Arabia right now. You know, we're seeing everybody left, right and centre. Premier League stars, La Liga stars, the likes of Karim Benzema. We're seeing a lot of players heading over to Saudi Arabia. And I think it's getting to the point now where any Tom, Dick and Harry is going to be linked with a potential move. And I think Jota has fell under that. Now, the 1.4 million followers, you've got to assume straight away, you know, we're talking about mostly being people who will obviously consume this content over in the Middle East. It doesn't seem like they've reported on anything too reputable that has happened. And, you know, I feel like there's probably a fine line that's being danced upon here in regards to rumours that have floated around of people who might admire Jota as a player, and then something that actually is official. Because you've got to start asking yourself, what does Celtic do in that situation? We'll come on to it in a minute. I just think that this is very out of nowhere, pie in the sky nonsense. You're telling me that this report comes out without any knowledge at all being in Scotland? Because when players are leaving, and especially players that are so important, as big as Jota, he's probably one of the most talented players that have came to the Scottish Premiership in years. You're telling me there hasn't been a sniff in the Scottish media that this is going to happen? I don't know. Listen, I can't confirm or deny or say anything in regards to whose sources are good enough to find out things. But what I can say is I just find it very unrealistic that nobody in the MSM in this country would know anything about this, because the only thing we're now seeing is the Daily Record and everybody else running with the exact same story. They're using this tweet, this piece of information, and that's their article. There is nothing else. So, you know, we're going to have to sit down and wait patiently. I am just very weary that this is utter nonsense. And maybe it's just because I don't want it to happen. I love him so much and I want him to stay. But I just think that this is something that we don't need to read into for the time being. I don't want to jinx it, but that's just the way that I feel right about now. So yeah, I don't know. Now, what we've got to talk about, I'm the exact opposite of paranoid. I'm actually quite calm about the situation. I know that Nuno is in charge of the club. There is definitely, look, there's no denying there is plausibility and there is possibility in it. There is no denying that there is a move here that's attractive enough for a football player to take with the money that's on grabs, Nuno being the manager, and the rest of the Saudi Arabian Football League. Obviously upping its standards. They're bringing in quality players. We're talking about a league that's probably going to be good enough to be up there in the ranks in the next 10 years. You know, this is a league that's probably going to become more and more attractive for players to move to, especially with the money that's at hand. But, yeah, you know, you've got to talk for a second, right? We've got to sit down and you've got to talk about the fact that what if it is real? You know, we've got to talk about that slight possibility, because you can't rule anything out yet, right? I honestly, I'd put all my money on him staying at Celtic, or at least not going to Saudi Arabia. But you've got to talk about the possibility and the chance of it ever happening and it being there, because the money is tempting. If he does go, Celtic need to find the right deal here. You've got to fleece them for every penny. Now, one thing I don't agree with is everybody that's actually losing their mind and getting their knickers in a twist and everything. Look, better players have come and gone at Celtic. You just need to replace a player like Jota with a player of his calibre or better. You need to recruit right, and Brendan Rodgers would have to realise that. But you've got to sit down and talk about what Celtic need from this deal. They need to fleece them first of all and get as much money as they can. But they can't be letting a man go on 4 years on his contract to the quality that he is and the potential that he has for anything less than like £30 million. And there is also obviously this talk and these rumours that Benfica get 30% of what we make as well. So once again, that also takes a lot away from what we get. You know, that's not entirely clear, the 30% thing. It's not down in paper for us to know. The club will know, Benfica will know, of course. I don't think it's actually been clarified to us yet. The rumour is 30% of something, either the profit or the entire fee. Nonetheless, if you're selling Jota, who's on a 4-year contract, for any less than 30 million, say 25, 20 million pounds, that's not worth Celtic's time to even sit and negotiate. So unless this is where you've got to sit down, and this tweet that's been put out, you've got to put it into perspective, right? You've got to put it in perspective. How much are they offering Celtic? Because there is no way for me in God's green earth where Celtic sit and go, yeah, we'll take that because it's worth losing him right now. It's not worth losing him. It's not worth losing him for a fee that's not high enough with 4 years in his contract, for the ability that he has for us, and for teams that probably will come calling in the next year or two. There's all of these factors that the club will weigh up before they just shoo him off to Saudi Arabia when the time isn't right or the money isn't right. People, I know I'm saying we have to fleece them and we have to go out there and do that. These are still smart guys. You know, they're not idiots running these clubs. They're billionaires for a reason. You know, they've made their money. They're smart businessmen. They know what they're doing. It's not as simple as going out and going, we want £50 million for Jota. They're not going to turn around and give £50 million for Jota. It doesn't work like that. They pay ridiculous fees for players they can market. Absolutely. Is Jota a marketable player yet? We love him, but he's not. He's not a star. He's not a universally known character. He's not known across the whole of Europe. He's not someone that's a Saudi Arabian club is going to just sit down and go, hey, there's your 50 million you're asking for Celtic. It's not as simple as that. So you've got to ask yourself, how much money realistically are they putting on the table? And is it enough money for Celtic to sit and go, yeah, I think it's a lot of nonsense. That's my opinion. Overall, I think that's my opinion. Just like the Hatate stuff. And honestly, I think the Hatate stuff was probably more believable, if anything. I think that he was probably in a position where we might have expected him to leave this summer, and it was just a little bit more believable. Unlike the Jota stuff today, I just don't feel like it's the same. But this is going to happen now. This is the world of football. Players are going to be linked with Saudi Arabian clubs left, right, and centre, and there's no way that any of us can sit here and pretend we can approve of the journals. We don't know. None of us know if this channel is reliable or not. We've never consumed content off them. Maybe there's the odd person that's lived in Saudi Arabia or happens to be from the Middle East, and they can sit and tell us. But generally, everybody watching this stream right now, we don't know. So over the next few years, when players are linked with Saudi Arabian clubs, we're going to have to learn. It's a learning curve. They're new to the game, pretty much. This is a thing that's just kicking off now. So watch it as it develops over the next week or so. For now, I would say it's nonsense. I think there has to be more to it. We can't be letting Jota go. I think that Jota, for me, is in the same boat as Kyogo. They're two players that I think the club need to protect and keep this season. Jota should be easier to do that with, considering he's still got 4 years left on his deal and he's young. I think that there's more Celtic can do there, and they're very hard players to replace, especially when you're in the middle of a changing manager. When Ange is out, Rodgers is coming in. You need players of those quality to kind of drag you forward. Yeah, I would say it's nonsense for now. Also, can I just clear up something very quickly? A lot of people have been making a big deal about Jota's Instagram handle. It's not changed. It's not changed. It's always been Jota Felipe 7. It's always been 7. It was never 17. But a lot of people are saying it's changed. So don't read into things like that. Just do your due diligence. We'll be fine. We'll go through it. I know I'm away for the next few days. Hopefully nothing huge comes out. And hopefully Jota's not spotted on a plane to bloody Jeddah or something. Let's just, keep the heat. Yes, keep the heat. That's exactly it. I want to get into your thoughts and things about all of this. It's just when you go on Twitter, it's just a bit of a sore head seeing everybody losing the head straight away as if like he's absolutely gone. That's it. It's done. It's finished. This is one article from one, this is usually when something's there and something's solid, you start seeing trees of people come in and out and journalists reporting things. Fabrizio Romano's never far off the mark with it. And he's usually catching up on anybody who reports before him. Nothing. Just this one place. That's all. So, yeah. On a more positive note, any news on Yang Hyun-jun? Yet. I literally have never heard of the second name you've got there. Not going to lie to you, fella. But on Yang Hyun-jun's part, no. Nothing else since my last update on the channel. I think it is very much the same situation right now. Can't see the move making any sense at all. Big Fabrizio hasn't said anything, and that man is God. Listen, it's not as if like even the likes of Fabrizio get it 100% all the time, and it's not even like they tweet about Celtic all the time. But what my general point is, there would always be someone like, right off the back that says something to back up a story like that, especially when they're reporting it's done. That for me is a red flag straight away. It's done. Just like that, it's done. Jota, who's been on his holidays all week, it's done. Posting photos and clubs. No, he's been on the phone, but he's been signing contracts in the middle of this club, lads. I just feel like it's just a massive red flag for me. I don't know why people don't share that same mentality until they go 2-footed in. I think there needs to be a bit of calm around it. Let's see. I want to get some thoughts, some things. DM McDonald, he's always in here. Love it. Letting Jota go would be a massive blow for us, but like you, Ryan, I think it's a lot of nonsense, especially after the Hatate pish the other day. Absolutely. Like, the day Jota goes will be a sad day. I love him. He's one of my favourite players that we've had in recent times at Celtic. But one thing I can't get through enough is the fact that if he goes, he goes. Like, it's not the end of the world. I love him. He's up there. Look, he's where are you? There. He's up there. Right there. Pointing to him right now. And I love him to bits. But, Moussa Dembele, who's over there, he's at the other side. Then he's there. I was heartbroken when he left, but we're fine. It wasn't the end of the world, was it? And Dembele was better than what Jota is. So, well, that's up for dispute, I suppose. We're not getting into that. That's Colin. Hello, Colin. I hope that's the Colin what. Love to see you, mate. One tweet, not even an article. No sources, nothing. There would be far more information out there. Calm down. Exactly. There's not even a link. You can't even follow it up. It's just, it's done. Says who? Who says it's done? You know what I mean? That's a very good point, Colin. Thank you. Yeah. Let's see. And let's not forget, BBC, Clyde One, and whoever are all referring to that one tweet. Exactly. This is the thing. And I feel sort of guilty. Because I technically I do the same thing, don't I? Like, I'm not going to sit here and pretend I don't. Like, my headline for the stream today is the links with Celtic. Well, I don't think that the headline's that bad for myself. I've said the links with Celtic players in Saudi Arabia begin. But you see the mainstream, they're running with the whole bid accepted thing, and that gets people clicking, that gets people worried, and they cite this, and that's it. They cite that one tweet. The thing I like to do is come on and offer my opinions as to why it's nonsense, which I feel like I've kind of given quite clearly as to why I think it's nonsense. Jota or Celtic needs to clear this madness, or Brendan Rodgers needs to clear it, says Paul. That's what I said towards the start of the stream. Look, it will get cleared. There'll be photos of him in training soon, or he'll be back at Celtic Park, or there'll be something. He'll probably be in the kit launch tomorrow, and that's that. You know what I mean? Like, I know kit launches don't mean a thing, but aye. Thank you, Colin. I hope you're good too, mate. Nice to see you. Ruben Neves went to Saudi at age 26. Would Jota know what to do that at 24? I can't see it, Ryan. Look, at the end of the day, it's becoming one thing that we need to understand now about the Saudi Arabian League is age isn't going to matter anymore. They are going to become, like it or not, they're going to become an attractive league to go to. A lot of players will go to them because the money's good and the quality will slowly get better. Age is not going to matter anytime soon. That wouldn't stop anybody, let alone Jota. But yeah, in terms of, I can't see it. I just can't. I don't think Jota would want to go there. I really don't. It's not as if I know him. I can't sit here and say I'm pals with Jota, but I just don't see it. I think Jota wants to try and hit the top of the game, and I think he wants to go to the best he can in Europe before he even consider something like that. But money does talk. We know that. So, as I said, it's not as if I really know him. Thank you, Ewan. I appreciate that. I will enjoy. Celtic and Fraserburgh. Nice. Enjoy, my man. Ask Jota where he's off to. Let's see. What else? Oh, I got a donation. What a man. Ian, love you, mate. Nice to see you again. What a hero. I will believe it when the club announce it, and I'm very envious of you going to Money in the Bank. I have to watch on TV. Look out for me. I'll give you a wave, Ian. I'll give you a wave. But thank you for the donation. And that's it, I guess. It's one of those ones. I feel like, on my channel, I always report things when I know that there's actually something, and I'll talk about things when I know there's something to talk about, in the sense that the way that I talk about it, and if I have this feeling in my head it's going to happen, when it is, right? Some people don't. Some people believe everything they see, right? But there's just, when something's true. When something's going to happen. And that's when I start to talk more seriously. Whereas tonight, I'm just like, everybody fucking shut up. You know what I mean? Let's see. What time are we on anyway? 10 to 7. Not bad. Thank you. Oh, by the way, can we talk about this? Just before I go away into London over the weekend, I want to talk about this. Thank you for bringing it up, Kieran. Thank you for the donation. Keep your things rolling in, your comments and everything like that. I want to talk about this, right? Because it's winding me up something rotten, this. Thank you for the £2. Livakovic into the place for Hart for €6 million, and €6 million. Reportedly, Dominic Livakovic is moving to Fiorentina for €6 million. Why on earth are Celtic not over that? Why? If we want to make big signings and go forward in Europe, that's the €6 million. He's one of the best keepers in Europe. You see him at the World Cup. Phenomenal. I'm not just saying that because I signed him for Celtic and every FM save since the dawn of time, right? But he is genuinely brilliant keeper. Wages will not be high. He's not going to Fiorentina to get a massive wage. Celtic should be intercepting. They should be saying, listen, come here, play Champions League football, win trophies. You still get picked for Croatia, Juranovic did. Why are Celtic not all over that rash? We need a keeper. And he's €6 million. Like, go, do it. I know I said that about Barkas. But there is a fundamental difference between those two. It winds me up because I see that and I'm like, Celtic could pull that off. They could if they could pull it off. I'm not a scout, I suppose, so they might have other people that they want first. But wow, it proper annoys me. Well, the hoops at Money in the Bank. I was thinking about it, but I'd be annoyed if I didn't go wearing that, like, I don't know, my Kevin Owens shirt or something. So I'll see. I've took the new away. I've packed the new away shirt, but that's just black, so you're not going to spot that in the telly. Yeah. I hope this £30-40 million budget isn't a lot of pish, because I would like to see us put in one or two chunky bids for a decent centre-back, and striker would also take King from Red Stars. Would say a King? Thought we were against the Monarchs. No, yeah, I hope it's true as well. That's what I mean. If it is, take Livakovic. Go. Stop Fiorentina doing it. We're in an age now, and I don't want to be disrespectful. Fiorentina, big club, Italian football, some of the best, But Italian football is not in an attractive state right now. Let's not beat around the fucking bush. And Fiorentina aren't got any certainties. And I know they just got to a European final, right? But they've not got any certainties as to they're going to keep doing that or playing in Europe every year. They've not. Surely Celtic's a more attractive move than Fiorentina nowadays. It's got to be. Thank you, Celtic Glasgow. Yeah, I will enjoy Money in the Bank. Thank you. You want more rumours? I'll give you all the rumours, mate. Thank you for the donation. And thank you to Greg as well for the £2 saying, hi, Ryan. Reckon we'll also drop out the Asia tour. Thank you for bringing it up. That was my segue into the next topic that I wanted to talk about very briefly before we wrap things up and I get a couple more of thoughts. Do I think we'll drop out the tour? No. So my understanding of the situation seems to be it's the Korean leg of the tour which has kind of fell apart. I think that the Japanese end of things, fine, good to go. We'll still play our two, as far as we know, unless everything collapses. The Japanese games are fine. The teams that have pulled out were teams who I believe are only playing in Korea. I think Roma and Wolves might have only had games in Korea and that's why they're out for problems with payments, etc. I think everything with the Japan end of things is fine. I think that Celtic are still going forward with that. Obviously, we're now pulled out. Now, what I would like to see Celtic do in return is probably organise something for us over here. Because there's no point in going arse over tit to try and organise something over in Asia if they can't do it easily enough. Look, if there's another game up for offer in Japan, go for it, I suppose. But do you know what? We were meant to play Wolves. Get on the board to Wolves. Ask them to play at the Molyneux. I, for one, am very, very, very annoyed that we'd never get our trips down to England. since I've become a teenager, and I say teenager, but since I got to my late teens, and it's like, you know, I've been able to go to games abroad and down south and stuff like that, we've not got a chance to do it. We had one, it was Sunderland, I couldn't even go. And we've never had one since. I know there's usually a spot of bother, and that's the thing they try and avoid. It's not an easy ask because some people obviously go down and there's a wee bit of trouble. But I would love it. Get on the phone, get a trip to Molyneux organised, do a game there. I don't know how easy or difficult that is, but it can't be that difficult. If it, you know, it's much closer than South Korea. You know what I mean? But Colin pointing out to me, as I was saying, yeah, 2 different promoters for the Japan and Korean tours. So yeah, absolutely spot on. I was. No, I'm joking. But thank you, Colin. Ticket prices are sky high, so the sales are low. There you go. So they've not been able to pay up or whatnot. Yeah, so the Japanese stuff will still be going ahead. Another donation from Celtic Glasgow. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. By the way, nearly 700 viewers. Thank you. Finn Balor to win. Alien 8 to win. Dom to win. Yeah. I don't think Dom will win. Well, actually, I think he might. I don't know. I don't think Finn will win. I want him to win, but I don't think he will. But aye, interesting. Right, a couple more comments. Oh, donation. Thank you very much, Max. Celtic need to organise more events in Ireland. Fans travelling over week in, week out, but we never see them play on their own island. Do you know what? I agree. Celtic should do more in Ireland because there's the B team stuff happening, isn't there? I think that we're playing, is it Sligo? I think we're playing. And that's great. Fantastic. But the people of Ireland, they want the first team. Take them over. I would love a wee trip to Ireland sometime soon. I was meant to go to Dublin back in March, ended up no going. So I'd love to go over. Celtic, give me an excuse. And it feels right. Obviously, I don't work behind the scenes and organising all this stuff. But yeah, thank you for the £5, Mac. Yeah, try and get another couple of comments in before we wrap up. I was going to try and wrap up for 7 o'clock. But I just want to bring this back up on screen one more time. I've lost the fucking tweet. Right, what am I doing? There we go. I want to bring this back up on screen one more time before we wrap up because this is what we were here for this evening. We will watch it develop with a keen eye, but I really, and I hate saying things that could bite me in the arse. I don't think we will see any more development to this. I think it starts and ends with this tweet that apparently Jota has agreed terms already on his holidays. He's agreed terms to go over and sign for the Saudi Arabian side, Al Ittihad. That was the big news, but yeah. We do need a goalie, Alistair. We absolutely do. Brendan is off to Sheffield Wednesday, says he's very proud and honoured to join such a historical club. That's the kind of thing that, you know, publications will run with and folk will believe it. That's what happens. That is what happens, you know. Let's see. Any couple of things. The KT, I seen somebody asking about the KT rumours. I made a video yesterday on the KT stuff. So I love how you used rumours. Check out my video yesterday if you want my opinions. Need to stop listening. Look, listen, we're not going to stop singing it. We'll be singing it next season. Thank you, Kaiser. That would be handy. Right, I'm going to wrap it up there for this evening because I'm going to the gym and then I need to get back and get to my bed because my flight's at fucking 6:05 in the morning. So I need to get a good sleep. So I'll be gone tomorrow. I'll be gone Friday and I'll be gone tomorrow. I'll be gone Saturday. I'm not back till about 10 o'clock at night on Sunday, so I'll probably not be back on the channel till Monday, ladies and gents. I know, such a shame. I hope you miss me. I'll miss you. But we'll be right back to work on Monday, start off July, hopefully with some big news or whatnot. But yeah, I hope you all have a great weekend and all the rest of it. Thank you for the support all through June. It's nice to get a few days off. I say that like I wasn't just in Montenegro a couple of weeks ago, but yeah. Thank you, everybody. Enjoy your weekend. I'll see you all next time. Cheerio. Hail, hail.